My name is Eleanor Hayes. I turned 72 last month, though birthdays stopped feeling special years ago. For most of my life, I was just Mom or Mrs. Hayes, the quiet woman who cooked, cleaned, worried, and waited. I waited for my husband Jacob to come home from his long shifts at the factory, waited for my daughter Madison to call, waited for someone to notice I existed beyond what I could provide. Jacob died 2 weeks ago. Heart attack, quick and merciless, just like the doctors said it would be if he didn't slow down. He was 74. We had been married 48 years. The funeral was small, a handful of old coworkers, a few neighbors who still remembered us from the early days, and Madison. She flew in from California, stayed for exactly 36 hours, gave a short eulogy about how Dad was always working hard for us, hugged me stiffly, and left. No tears from her. No offer to help pack up his things. Just a quick, call if you need anything, Mom, before she disappeared into her Uber. I didn't call. I never did anymore. The house felt bigger after the funeral. Empty rooms echoed with memories. Jacob's armchair still smelled faintly of his aftershave. His toolbox sat untouched in the garage. I wandered through the house like a ghost, touching things, remembering. We weren't rich. Never were. Jacob worked overtime for 40 years at the steel mill. I cleaned offices at night, sewed clothes for neighbors, baked cakes for birthdays to make extra money. We saved every penny, college fund for Madison, emergency stash, a small retirement account. Or so I thought. A week after the burial, I received a letter from a law firm in Chicago I'd never heard of. Regarding the estate of Jacob T. Hayes. My hand shook as I opened it. Inside was a list of accounts, investments, property deeds. Numbers that didn't make sense. $80,753,412.68. $80 million. It had started small, a lucky stock purchase Jacob made in the 80s with a bonus check, reinvested quietly over decades. Compound interest, smart, secret, moves during market booms. He never told me. Not once. He said our savings were modest, that we had to be careful. He died protecting this secret, perhaps thinking I'd never need to know, or perhaps afraid I'd worry. I sat at the kitchen table for hours, staring at the statement. The bank app confirmed it when I logged in with the credentials the lawyer provided. 80 million, grown silently while we lived on rice and beans some months, while I skipped doctor visits to pay Madison's tuition, while Jacob worked double shifts with a bad back. Why hide it? I think he feared change. Feared I'd stop working, feared Madison would find out and change. Or perhaps he wanted to leave it as a surprise, a safety net after he was gone. But he didn't know how much it would hurt to learn this alone. That night, I thought of Madison. She was 45 now, successful in marketing, married to a tech executive, 2 kids I barely knew. She called maybe twice a year. Visits were rare. Last Christmas she sent a photo of them on a yacht instead of coming home. Busy season, she said. When Jacob got sick, she sent flowers once. Work's crazy, Mom. You understand. I almost called her. Almost said, your father left us rich. But something stopped me. A quiet voice, the same one that had whispered doubts for years. Why tell her now? After all the times she made me feel small? After the birthdays she forgot, the Mother's Days ignored, the way she rolled her eyes when I asked for help around the house? I decided to wait. Just a little longer. The next morning, I drove to the bank. The manager met me in a private room. He confirmed everything. The money was real, untaxed, properly structured, all in my name now. Jacob had named me sole beneficiary years ago. No trusts, no strings, just me. I didn't withdraw anything. I just sat there, numb. Then I asked about privacy. Can anyone else see this? He said no, unless I told them or they had legal access. I left with a new debit card, a sense of power I'd never felt, and a plan forming in my mind. Back home, I opened Madison's Instagram. She'd shown me how years ago, though I rarely looked. Photos of luxury, vacations in Bali, designer bags, dinners at places where entrees cost more than my monthly grocery bill. Captions like living my best life and grateful for abundance. Abundance she never shared. When I needed help with Jacob's medical bills, before insurance covered most, she said, "Mom, we're tight right now." Tight. I scrolled further. A post from last month, her at a spa retreat. Self-care Sunday. While I was changing Jacob's oxygen tank alone, the knot in my stomach tightened. Not anger yet, just clarity. She didn't need my money. She never had. But she had taken pieces of me for years, guilt trips. When I couldn't send extra, complaints about how hard life is, subtle digs about my simple life. I closed the app. That night, I made a decision. I wouldn't tell her. Not yet. Maybe not ever. Instead, I started small changes. I hired a cleaning service, first time in my life. I bought new curtains, soft ones that let in light. I ordered books I'd always wanted to read. Little things. Proof I could live differently. A month passed. Madison called once. "Hey Mom, how are you holding up?" Her voice was polite, distant. "Fine," I said. "Getting by. Listen, things are crazy here. The kids' school fees went up, and we're renovating the kitchen. Any chance you could help with a little something? Just $5,000 to tide us over?" 5,000. Like it was nothing. I paused. "I don't have it right now, honey." Silence. Then, "Oh. Okay. Thought maybe Dad left a bit more than you said." "He left what we needed," I replied. She sighed. "All right. Talk soon." "No, I love you." "No, how are you really?" I hung up and cried. Not for her, for the mother I used to be, the one who would have said yes even if it meant skipping meals. But those tears dried fast. I opened my laptop, searched for coastal towns in Maine. Quiet places. Places where no one knew me. Places with ocean views and small houses I could buy outright. I wasn't running. I was choosing. The secret grew heavier each day, but not in a bad way. It was like carrying gold instead of stones, valuable, but I had to decide what to do with it. I hired a private investigator, not because I distrusted Madison completely, but because I needed truth. Her life looked perfect online, but perfection can hide cracks. The PI was a retired cop named Tom Riley. Discreet, kind voice on the phone. I told him I wanted to know about my daughter's finances, lifestyle, debts, anything public or traceable. "No illegal stuff," I said. He laughed softly. "I don't do that, Mrs. Hayes." 2 weeks later, his report arrived. Email attachment. I printed it, sat at the kitchen table with tea gone cold. Madison and her husband earned well, combined $450,000 a year. House worth $2.1 million, 2 cars leased new every 2 years, private school for the kids. But debts, $180,000 credit cards, mostly luxury spending, $300,000 home equity line used for upgrades, gambling losses traced to online sites, her husband mostly, but she enabled it. Vacations funded by credit, not savings. The report included screenshots from financial forums where anonymous posts matched her details, complaints about stingy parents, needing help with a down payment, even though they already owned a home, jokes about waiting for inheritance to fix everything. One post chilled me, "Mom's alone now that Dad's gone. She'll crack eventually and send money. Always does. Always does." I stared at the words until they blurred. Then I remembered the times she cried on the phone about emergencies, how I sent what little I had from Social Security and Jacob's pension. How she never paid back a dime. How she once said, "You're good at sacrificing, Mom. It's what you do best." I felt sick. Not just betrayed, foolish. For decades, I'd believed her struggles were real. I'd clipped coupons while she bought $800 handbags. That night, I called my old friend Ruth, the only person I trusted besides Jacob, God rest him. Ruth lived in Vermont now, widowed like me. We talked for hours. "Eleanor," she said, "you don't owe her your life anymore. You gave her everything. Time to give yourself something." She was right. I met with a financial advisor, a woman named Claire, recommended by the bank. She was calm, no judgment. We reviewed the $80 million. Most in index funds, bonds, some real estate Jacob bought quietly. A few rental properties in Chicago suburbs, appreciating wildly. Claire asked, "What do you want, Eleanor?" "Not what your daughter wants. You." I thought. Peace. A home by the water. Freedom from guilt. And protection. If I die, I don't want it all going to people who see me as an ATM. We set up trusts. Irrevocable ones. Most of the money would go to charities, women's shelters, elder care programs, scholarships for single mothers. A portion for Ruth's grandchildren, she'd always been kinder to me than my own blood. A small annuity for Madison, enough for comfort, but not luxury. No lump sum. No control. I changed beneficiaries on accounts. Updated my will. Everything legal, airtight. Then I started planning my move. Searched properties in Bar Harbor, Maine. Found a small cottage, 2 bedrooms, deck overlooking the Atlantic, $650,000. Cash buy. No mortgage. Closing in 60 days. I didn't tell Madison. Why would I? She hadn't asked about my life since the funeral. But she called again. This time, urgent. "Mom, we have a problem. The house needs major repairs, foundation issues. Insurance won't cover it all. We need $50,000 quick, or we'll lose equity. Can you help?" "It's temporary." Temporary. Always temporary. I said, "I can't, Madison. My savings are gone after your father's medical bills." She exploded. "What savings? Dad worked his whole life. There has to be something. You're being selfish." Selfish. The word hit like a slap. I stayed calm. "I'm taking care of myself now. That's all." She hung up. No goodbye. The next day, a text, "If you don't help, don't expect to see your grandkids again." My heart cracked, but didn't break. I'd heard threats before. They never followed through, because they needed me eventually. This time, I wouldn't be there. I sold the old house quietly. Realtor handled it. $420,000. Went straight to my new account. Packed slowly. Gave furniture to neighbors. Kept Jacob's photo albums, his wedding ring, a few books. The day before closing, Madison showed up unannounced. Knocked hard. I opened the door. She looked furious, makeup perfect, new coat. "Where's everything?" she asked, seeing bare rooms. "Gone," I said. "Sold the house." Her eyes widened. "You sold Dad's house? Without telling me? That's my inheritance." "No," I corrected gently. "It's mine. Always was." She stepped inside. "Mom, stop this. You're acting crazy. Grief does that. Let me help you." Help. Funny word from her. I showed her the empty living room. "You never helped when I asked." "Why now?" She softened her tone. "I was wrong. I see that. But family is family. We can fix this." I looked at her, really looked. Saw the calculation in her eyes. Not remorse. Opportunity. "I already fixed it," I said. "For me." She left angry. Slammed the door. I didn't cry. I felt light. Moving day came fast. Movers took the last boxes to storage. I'd ship what I needed later. The cottage in Bar Harbor waited. But before I left, I decided one last thing, tell her the truth. Not to hurt, to close the chapter. I invited Madison for coffee. She came, suspicious. We sat at the empty kitchen table, I'd left 2 chairs. I have something to say, I began. She crossed her arms. If it's about money, forget it. I won't beg. It's not begging I want. It's honesty. I slid a folder across. Inside, bank statements, redacted amounts, PI report summary, copies of my new will and trusts. Her face paled as she read. $80 million, she whispered. Dad had. He did. Hid it. For safety. Now it's mine. She looked up, eyes shining, greed, not grief. Mom, we could. No, I cut in. There is no we. You've made your choices. Parties over visits. Luxury over calls. Threats over love. Tears now. I was busy. Life's hard. Life was hard for me too. Raising you alone when Jacob worked nights. Working sick. Skipping my dreams so you could have yours. She sobbed. Please. The kids, they need stability. They have parents. You have a husband earning well. Use it. I handed her an envelope. Inside, a check for $100,000. Last gift. No more after this. She stared. That's it? That's generous, I said. The rest goes to people who need it. Shelters. Elders like I was, alone, used. She stood. You're cutting me out? Your own daughter? I'm freeing myself. You cut me out years ago, this just makes it official. She left crying. Real tears? Maybe. But too late. I drove away that afternoon. No look back. The road to Maine was long. I stopped at motels, ate in diners, listened to old songs Jacob loved. Felt his presence, not in money, but in peace he wanted for me. Arrived in Bar Harbor at dusk. The cottage smelled of pine and sea. Deck overlooked waves crashing softly. Kids grown, distant. She reached out twice more, once asking for help, once just to talk. I didn't respond. The door closed softly, permanently. No regret. I gave her life, education, chances. She chose her path. My days, sunrise coffee on the deck. Walks with Margaret. Painting seascapes, bad ones, but mine. Reading. Volunteering at the local senior center, helping women like old me. The $80 million? Managed wisely. Most in trusts doing good, homes for abused women, scholarships, elder programs. I live on a fraction, comfortable, not flashy. Sometimes I think of the Eleanor who waited, who said yes to everything. She's gone, left in that empty house. This Eleanor wakes happy. Listens to waves like lullabies. Has friends who call just because. Feels seen. One evening, sunset painting the sky orange, I wrote in my journal, Dear Jacob. You kept a secret to protect us. I kept one to protect me. Thank you for the life we built quietly. Thank you for the freedom after. I'm not alone anymore. Not because of money, because I chose myself. Love always, Eleanor, just Eleanor now. I closed the book. Walked to the deck. Wind carried salt and promise. Tomorrow, another sunrise. Another day mine. And that was enough. The end.